Hello. You're on Messy in the Middle with Jeanie. I'm Jeanie. I'm a mess. Um, I am talking today about my kids, and you'll notice that there's a few videos that all kind of look the same, but they're not. They're all different. I talk about all of my different kids, and this video right now is talking about my actual oldest. So, and there's the cat again. For those of you who've watched my videos, you know that I have this cat. He's very, very loud. Hey, shh. I already fed you. You have eaten. Stop. So there's that. Um, anyway, so my actual oldest is a gentleman named Andrew, and he is a fantastic human. Um, he has been through a lot and just keeps going and just keeps doing the right thing and making the right choices and not he hasn't always done that, right? Like we all make mistakes, we all make the wrong choice every now and again, but so not every choice has been perfect, but as a human and as a person who just I admire the way that he keeps going and that he um, he perseveres through all of the things. And I think that that is just when I was talking in the last video about Mary and how she's powerful and strong, he is equally as powerful and strong. Um, they are, um, they're both really good at perseverance. Um, Andrew is, um, I was able to obtain Andrew when he was about 14. And um, he, I have enjoyed having him in my life ever since he got here. And again, not every choice has been perfect. Um, and he has definitely forged his own path, which I appreciate. Um, he has always, he is steadfast and loyal and lovely. And he has um, now is engaged, and the blankets are for his boys. Um, he has two. I always, I hate it when people say two twins. Like, duh. Anyway, but I still do it sometimes, which is weird. So he has twin boys, and um, they are the joy of Granny and Papa's life, 100%. And in fact, the other children are a little bit um, off put by the way that we are with the grandbabies. But they're our grandchildren, so they can have whatever they want. And if you are not a grandparent yet, but you hope to someday be, let me tell you, truly one of the best things that could ever happen. It's really fantastic. Being able to enjoy your time with your grandbabies and just love on them and snuggle them and spoil them ridiculously. And, um, I mean, we're definitely the grandparents that have the rules in the house of the things that you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. But I'm going to tell you, uh, for any children out there who have ever known me, if you will just be respectful, you pretty much have anything you want. So Um, yeah, that applies to the grandbabies because they don't even know what that means yet. So, um, anyway, uh, Andrew has, when he was going through a really tough time when I got to um, start knowing him, when I got to see him and spend time with him. And when I first met him, he was going through a really hard time, um, partially of his own doing and partially because of circumstances beyond his control. Um, and I, um, my heart, I have a soft spot for people who are in turmoil. And all I wanted to do was just love on him. um, I don't think things, maybe if you have stepchildren, you, and well, if you don't, you might not know, but if you have stepchildren, you know that when they come into your life, they come in with their own baggage, right? And they are working through stuff that has happened with their parents, their other parents, and they are working through stuff, um, you know, trying to get comfortable with the idea of not their parents not being together, but also in most cases, by the time parents are getting divorced, especially if your kid's a teenager, kids know what's coming. I mean, they're not stupid. They can see. In his situation, his parents were divorced when he was very young, so they had already been divorced for a long time, and he had grown up with them being separated from each other. Um, I was not there, of course, for the majority of that, but I did see the after effects of it, and I will say that um, you know, he was struggling to find his place in the world. I think largely due to the fact that the situation was not ideal. And so, like I said, I wanted to just love on him. Um, but if you know 14-year-old boys, you know that as a population, they're not the easiest to love on. Um, and especially when they have um, a history that is not ideal. So, I was um, asked to and chose to step back and allow him space to be who he needed to be and to work through things as he could. Um, I don't know that I would have done it the same way, knowing what I know now and having the experience that I had. Um, I think that I would have preferred would have preferred to love on him more than I did. Um, it was requested that I step back, and I agreed to that. And Andrew, if you're listening, know that I always wanted to love on you. That I feel like really what you needed more than anything in that time was to know that somebody was going to be there for you and that you were going to get to be loved on in the way that you needed it. And um, I was willing to learn that. And as we go on in our lives, I hope that um, we get to a point where you feel that from me if you don't already. I feel like you do, but anyway, I digress. It's not a conversation between Andrew and I right now. Um, but I do hope that he feels that from me. I have not always agreed with the choices that he's made, but I've always understood how those choices could have come to be. So, he did live away from us for a while as an adult. You know, all of our kids, we were really big about making sure that the kids knew that when they were adults, once they graduated, they needed to forge their own path and live their own lives. And while we understand that it is hard to do that in today's world, we completely get that. And we are willing to help out, um, everything from pay an electric bill every now and again, or um, change a rim or a tire on a car, or drop off food from, go to membership club and whichever one you happen to be a member of, and buy big boxes of food to deliver to the apartment where they live with their friends. Um, Come drag them out of an uncomfortable situation, all of these things. Like, this is what you do as a parent, right? And that doesn't mean that your child has to live under your roof, right? And I know that a lot of parents disagree with that. And I know that a lot of parents really feel like they want their kids with them as long as possible. I have always felt like it's important that my kids, um, once they are 18 and graduated, that they forge their own path and they live their own life. Um, because that's adulting, right? And like I said, I know that not everybody agrees with that. And I think everybody kind of has their own way of doing things, but um, they were able to, they weren't invited to stay at home if they did go to college, just because that adds a whole nother degree of difficulty trying to pay for school. Because we were certainly not in a financial situation where we could set aside money for their college. Are you kidding? Like, I think it's great if you're in that place. That is not where we were. So, I mean, there were times when we had to decide whether we were going to pay the electric bill or the gas bill. So, how are we going to put aside money for college, right? Plus, we have 6 children, and it was our choice to have 6 children. So, for all of you out there who are high and mighty about, well, you chose to have 6 children, yes, that does not, paying for my children's education is not a requirement. So, there you go. I do feel like like he left when he, that he left home when he felt like he needed to. Um, it was not an easy path for him, and he struggled for a while. But I do think that he, ultimately in the end, he figured it out and he's doing well. And um, yeah, so um, being a stepmom, there's um, it's hard. It's a weird place to be, or stepdad. I think a step parent in general, whatever. I think is a hard place to be, especially when the kids are older when they come to you. It's hard to know how to embrace them as your own while allowing them to manage their life with their other parents and all of that. It's a difficult place to be, and I think nobody ever does it perfectly, and um, it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, um, because in the long and short of it, you're dealing with a brokenhearted child, right? And a brokenhearted child doesn't always behave in the way that you, or not even behave in the way that you think, but doesn't always embrace you in the way that you um, would like for them to embrace you. So, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Like, I really, he's always been very kind and very loving to me. But I feel like I could have encouraged more of that, um, if I wouldn't have been so afraid to step on people's toes. So, um, if you're out there and you have a stepchild or you are in the process of obtaining a stepchild, um, know that the road is not easy and you're always going to look back and wonder, if you made the right choices. But I would just say love fiercely, right? Because ultimately, even if they don't, even if they don't receive you in the way that you hope, or even if you are in a place, and I'm not saying he didn't, I'm just saying I've seen it, where a step parent is just not received in a positive way at all. Um, and when you're in that situation, know that you're dealing with somebody with a broken heart, right? And so if you can look past their broken heart and you can kind of love them through their own healing of their broken heart, um, I really feel strongly that you can come out on the other side of that with a beautiful relationship with a stepchild. So, um, that is, I think that's all I have to say about that. I really think that, we have a good relationship now, and that I love him madly, and I think that he is so fantastic and has done so well for himself through all of the crazy that he's put up with. So, and lived through. So, anyway, um, that is Andrew is my fifth child, even though I didn't get him until he was 14. Um, he came into my life as the fifth one. And um, I am grateful that he did. And I have learned a lot as a step parent, about how to manage a relationship with somebody who's maybe not ready for a relationship with you. And I think that that's okay. Every experience is about learning from it, right? And I do feel like I have learned a lot from my relationship with him, and I've grown, and I think he's grown. I know he's grown, and um, and I would encourage you that if you are in a situation with a stepchild, that you remember that it's it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. And just to love fiercely and be strong in that, because they need it, even if they don't know they need it, because sometimes they don't know. And so, anyway, I hope you have a really great day, and